So I welcome all of you again for today's session as we continue with our discussions on how to better our leadership capacity. And I believe that as we continue with this journey, at a personal level, we're getting better, and that in turn replicates within our leadership environment, that people can attest to the difference that they can note in our leadership. We always say that when a leader gets better, everyone gets better. And that's our spirit, that as we continue equipping ourselves, then we'll be able to even experience more fulfillment as we undertake our roles in our leadership space. So there was a mix-up on the link, and I am sorry for that. So we'll just want to move straight on. We're having a lesson that is a bit long, the power of vision in leadership, but we'll see how well to manage the session so that we can probably conclude this today. Then we'll chat the way forward. So we'll just start with a word of prayer, and let's just believe together and pray. Heavenly Father, we are grateful for tonight, and we just want to commit ourselves to you as we pray that, Lord, you continue speaking to us through these sessions, and even as we meet together as leaders, just to engage on how to lead better and to become better stewards of the people that you have entrusted us, Lord. May you, God, guide us and quicken our understanding, deepen our understanding. We are praying for an inside-out transformation as we continue to discuss this topic tonight. May you take control as we go through the entire session. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. So, yeah, we are looking at the power of vision in leadership, a very, very important topic. And as we walk through this topic, let's reflect on two aspects. Reflect on the vision that you are serving, either a personal vision or an organizational vision. Have it probably written somewhere. At some point, we'll want to discuss a little bit about that. But that will be the focus, because this is the heartbeat of leadership. The topic of all the discussions around issues of vision. Those who attended the leadership forum, I shared this photo. You can see this photo on your screen. And can you tell the direction of this car? Which side is this car moving? Where is the front? Where is the back? Is it easily, can we be able to identify the direction of this car? To look at it just at a glance, or even if not the direction, maybe what can you tell about this car? Just a simple statement that you can tell about this car. I can take maybe one because of time. Either the chat or just unmute and just make a comment. Any comment on this car, or can we tell the direction of this car? Where is the front? Where is the back? Or any other additional comment besides maybe the specific question that I'm asking. So I can take one comment. And then we'll just move on. Yeah, so just one comment. Let me see on the chat. Yeah, Fred, you're saying the car has no specific direction. Yeah, I like that. The car has no specific direction. Yeah, true. Very true. Okay, so maybe the others we can continue sharing as we continue. I will check the chat as we continue. And I think what Fred, you have said is true. This car, you can't tell the direction. And I think as a leader, it's very important for ourselves and the people we are leading to be able to tell the direction. So that we don't create a scenario where it's opaque, where it's ambiguous. Our direction is ambiguous. People don't really know where are we headed to. What is our direction? Frank, you're saying no definite direction. True. So as we look at this topic of vision, this is the message that as leaders, it's very important that it be clear in terms of our direction, where are we headed to? That is the message that we're going to discuss today. There are these guys. I don't know if you can identify these guys on the screen there. I don't know if you can identify. Who are these two guys? Even without maybe mentioning what they did. Who are they? Who are these two guys? Any idea, any clue on these two guys? Yeah, these are very famous people because of the kind of innovation that they came up with and the dream that they had and the vision that they had about shaping the world. So any idea about who are these? Who are these guys? Even a guess can do. May not be really the exact answer. Even a guess is good. Okay, past US presidents, that's Mr. Mwangi. Sammy, you're saying brothers who came up with the aircraft idea. Good. Thank you so much, Sammy. That's true. These are the Wright brothers. They are known as the Wright brothers. And these guys, they dreamt about flying. And in 1903, they took off. They took off using such kind of a craft. And we can't believe that this is where we started. Now we are talking about Boeing 787 and the rest, the Dreamliners. But this was the original Boeing. So these guys dreamed about shaping the world. And guys, people are still innovating around that. People are still innovating around that. But the guys that started this journey are the Wright brothers. They are no longer there. They are gone. But their dream is still alive. Their vision is still alive. And we're still building on that dream that they had. And I think that's the message that we just want to discuss around as we look at ourselves and as we look at where we are leading, maybe some years to come. There are things we are doing today that will shape the world. And our vision, as we'll be discussing later on, is something that others can carry on, others can improve on, others can continue shaping it more, advancing it more. So the Wright brothers, they have continued to shape the world today, and we are saying that no significant change happens in life without visionary leaders. Nothing, totally nothing of importance can happen unless we have visionary leaders. Unless we have visionary leaders, then there's no impact that can be made in our leadership spaces. So, and this is a good example. Good example as we look at this Wright brothers, and also think about Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish. Actually, there is no focus. The people are not able to really even advance. Where there is no revelation, people cast off restraint. People are uncontrollable. Resources are uncontrollable. And where there is no prophetic vision, people abandon restraint. These are important statements. But you're saying when there is no vision, nothing of importance can be done. You remember, we talked about the roles of a leader this is just a recap from the previous session, and I may not want to really focus on this so much because we discussed about this, and we said one of the critical role of a leader is vision formation, then vision planning, communication, execution, and then monitoring. Just are we on track, and also keeping on to reviewing our vision. There's a story that I might have mentioned or not yet, the story about the 3 bricklayers. It's a parable about the power of vision and purpose. So there were these 3 bricklayers. These guys were building, they were undertaking a construction, and someone came across and found the 3 guys. So he asked the first one, what are you doing? And he said, I'm a bricklayer. I'm working hard laying bricks to feed my family. The second one said, I'm a builder. I'm building a wall. And the third one said, I am a cathedral builder. I'm building a great cathedral to the Almighty. And basically, from their response, you can tell the person who had a picture of the end results, the person who probably was also more motivated because he could see something beyond just maybe making some income, beyond just parts. A wall is a part of the entire structure. So this guy could see something. So as he was putting the stones, the bricks, in him, he was seeing the cathedral. And that's the power of a vision. Vision helps us not just to see the parts, but to be able to see the end results of what we are undertaking. So there are some very simplified definition of vision. We are saying one, vision is desired end state. What is the end? What is the desired end state? Where do I want to end? What do I want my organization probably to look like in some years to come, or more of the final impact. As we go through the process, what is the final impact? So the end in mind, being able to see your results, to see the end, and also the part of the contribution. So that we are having in us of the future that is able to align our resources, that is able to align our relationships, that is able to align everything that we are doing now, even our activities and programs, so that we are able to concentrate to achieve that vision. There are some examples of vision statements, and I just want you to look at these examples and probably identify one that you feel is inspiring and one that you feel you may want to even partner with because maybe of the value and maybe the impact. So if you look at Oxfam, this is their vision, a just world without poverty. Facebook, connect with friends and the world around you on Facebook. We have Feeding America, Hunger-Free America. Microsoft, a computer on every desk and in every home. Then we have Human Rights Campaign, Equality for Everyone. And then finally, we have one by Habitat for Humanity, a world where everyone has a decent place to live. And then we have All Saints Cathedral, Christ-centered cathedral. So if you had to choose an organization that you feel has an inspiring vision or vision statements, among this one, maybe which one will be your choice? Which one will be your choice? Which one do you feel like it's more inspiring? It's something that you may want to partner in, maybe because of the impact or any other dimension that you may want to look at it. So you can feel free to share. And maybe you can even make a comment. If I can get one comment, it will be good. One comment.
I relate. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Sava.
I see the one of Cathedral Mission is very captivating to me because it is transforming people through the Word of God. And you know, when people are transformed and the Word of God has a foundation in their life, they're able to change and to make or to cause the surrounding and the environment and the people around them and even their life to be transformational in the sense that they are able to do good things and greater things for themselves. So I believe when one is transformed, then everything else gets aligned. You can imagine when your mind is transformed through the Word of God, which is the light of the world, then your entire life is transformed economically, socially, uh, and all areas of your life. So I believe the cathedral mission really carries a bigger impact in terms of the vision because it is a wholesome transformation of a person.
Yeah,
So I
thank you.
relate to this. I
Yeah,
relate more to this because even what is carried under Oxfam, Facebook, and all that, you'll find that it will fall under this transformation of a person through the Word of God, because God is everything and all for humanity.
yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Asava. Maybe one more comment. One more comment. Yeah, so either you can also feel free to chat or just unmute and make a comment. But what you have said, Mr. Frank, is true. If you deal with the inner man, then you're able to take care of so many other aspects. The only issue now is that you need to define your target because if you target probably to reach out to the bigger world, then we might need to explain more and create and use a language that they may understand. You know, sometimes we say we have our home language and we have the marketplace language. So if we are together in the house, then we can use any language that all of us understand. But when we move out to the bigger market, then we start thinking about what language can these people understand well. Maybe you'll be reaching out to Muslims, you'll be reaching out to so many other people that may not easily relate with some of the terms that we are using. So it's true what you have said. This encompasses all the other aspects, but of the essence is also to think about what is our target group and which language can they understand better. So that's important. When we're looking at this, remember I've been using this example of the journey of the children of Israel from Egypt to Canaan. They were promised. And I choose to really use this as an example of what a vision should look like, because when they started that journey, the promise that was made, they were promised a land of their own, flowing with milk and honey. And I'm sure this is something that is captivating, this is something that is exciting, and it can make someone really partner with you in that journey because they feel you are taking care of them. They feel it's giving a better future and is also giving them hope. And it's making a difference from where they are now to the new destination or to the new picture that they are working towards. So I don't know anybody who can tell the vision of Global Leadership Network. What's our vision as Global Leadership Network? Yeah, that one I think, let me open it. If you know it, just send on the chat. Maybe there will be something just to appreciate the person who is able to bring it out well. So in part of the introduction, I want to take you back to the definition of leadership by this Professor Dr. Mohammed. And I was saying leadership is a function of knowing yourself, basically having an awareness of yourself, identity and purpose, and that will ignite or give birth or results to a vision, having a vision, which is well communicated. Then you build trust among colleagues, so you build a team. Then from that team, you're able to take the action now to realize your own potential. And as you help others also realize their own potential. So clearly we can see this really encompasses what leadership entails. And one thing that comes out clear is that there is self-awareness that leads to that clarity in terms of a vision, and then you move on to be able to communicate the vision. So from the manual, there are some pages that have some blank spaces. If you can check that page so that we fill together, we can check that page where we are. So part of the introduction, we are saying vision encompasses thinking, planning the future with imagination, hindsight, insight, and foresight. So if you are already on that page, and someone can just tell us which page we are on as I look at the PowerPoints. If you're able to choose that page.
It's page 60.
On page 60. Page 60. So vision encompasses thinking, that's the missing word. And if you're not able to fill them now, you can fill them later because the answers are at the end of the lesson. So encompasses thinking, investment in terms of just to be able to think through, think prayerfully, then planning, imagination. This is somewhere you have not been. The other word you can use there is also maybe faith. You can talk about faith. Hindsight, looking at where we have come from, and then you're able to look at the details in terms of the insight, and foresight, where do you want to go? And we say that vision sets a leader from free from the limitation of what the eyes can see, because it gives you the liberty to imagine, to be able to dream more and look at a future that we haven't yet experienced. So a vision is a leader's radar and compass, guides the leader, and is also the heartbeat of leadership. So vision leads the leader. This is important because as you cast the vision, it starts giving you the direction, start telling you this is the path that we ought to take. And then vision will that spark that passion. Someone who is a visionary leader inspire passion in themselves and also in the people that they are leading. Then vision, it's like a magnet which attracts partners and also resources. It creates hope and passion. And we are saying that a leader without a vision is a tragedy, because think about that car. You can't tell where it's going. So it can easily knock, it can easily cause an accident. And this is how a leader looks like when we operate without a vision. Such leaders have no foresight. You can't tell where they're going, and they create or instill no hope in themselves and also the people that they are leading. There are some key terms that describes some of the key statements or key terms in the as you craft the vision. And you can look at these ones, they are in the manual, so I may not want to really take a lot of time here, but we are saying vision statement, just the bigger picture of what is to be achieved. Then the mission statement is more of general or statement of how the vision will be achieved. Then the purpose is giving the reasons why we need to pursue this vision. And then goals will create milestones so that we're able to measure our progress. The objectives will also be part of the milestone, but with specific timing. And then we have strategies, which approach are we going to use? Which methods are we going to use to be able to achieve our vision? And then action plans, that specific activities, and then core values. What do we believe in that holds us together? Maybe there are issues to do with integrity, there are issues to do with teamwork. All these aspects are important as we look at how to cast a vision and look and work towards the implementation of the vision. So these are key terms. Just look at them. I've also given some examples in the manual just to help us understand them better. So we are saying that every vision needs to be very specific and measurable, or the objectives. They need to be specific and measurable. They need to be suitable, meaning they need to address that particular problem that we are dealing with. And then feasible, it should be something that can be achieved. It's not abstract. Again, commitment. Can people be inspired to commit themselves? Which also is part of ownership. Does it inspire others to own? Can people willingly, voluntarily want to partner with you in that vision? Think about the vision statements that we discussed about. Could you see a vision statement that people will feel like, wow, this is what I want to be part and parcel of, because of the value that's adding either to me and also to the bigger society. So as we conclude part one, there are three parts that we look at. As we conclude part one, let's discuss briefly about ambition-driven leader versus vision-driven leader. This is important so that we are able to distinguish our leadership styles, and also as we look around the leaders that are leading us, we're able to tell on which line they are, and maybe where we can be able to assist and give some input, then we are able to guide correctly. So ambition, we are saying, is a desire inside you to achieve something, but a vision goes beyond that. It's not just a desire that focuses on the inside fulfillment alone, or the inside achievement, or self-focused, but it looks also in terms of the bigger picture and the bigger. Basically, we are saying a vision is outward looking. Ambition might be inward looking. And we're not saying that being ambitious is bad, but we're saying it needs to go beyond from just self to something that wants to add more towards building the society in a bigger picture. Some of the differences, we're saying that ambition-driven leader can be driven by self-centered desire or just self-glory or self-gratification. And also they can be limited just to the ability of what they see. You work with what you see. They can be competitive. They can, or they operate with a competitive mindset. They can be inclined to naturalism, just being in the natural, want to work with the tangibles. So they don't believe on something that is bigger in terms of supernatural belief or faith. They can be driven by excessive desire for distinction, issues of honor, issues of superiority, popularity, or even fame. But on the other side, if you look at a vision-driven leader, they're driven by a purpose for the good of mankind. So we say they're outward looking, driven by the sense or ability of heart or imagination. Also, they're driven by complementary mindset, not competitive mindset. Driven by faith or divine guidance. They supernatural, something that they're dreaming of things that are so big that they cannot just look at the natural world. They want to believe and trust in a bigger power or bigger help to so that they can achieve this vision. And then they're driven by a desire for significance, for value, for legacy, and also for impact. Again, for ambition-driven leader, we're saying they measure their success probably by personal achievement or gratification. And we said they're extrinsically driven. They can also measure their success by what they have in terms of probably of possessions or assets or external things. Then they can use people or devalue people. And they can be superficial, driven by complexity. They can live a very complex life because they are looking at probably satisfaction from the outside world. For a vision-driven leader, they measure success by impact, legacy, and fulfillment. They are others focus. They are driven by inner peace, inner fulfillment. They are servanthood and they value humanity, and they are genuine. They're driven by simplicity and authenticity. A vision simplifies life. Vision simplifies life. It does not complicate life, but it simplifies life. That's why Paul was saying, this one thing I do. Yeah, this one thing. It really sharpens us and it helps us to be very, very focused. And it brings simplicity in life because we realize that you may not need to do too much to really have impact. But you may need just to be focused and to identify where you fit best, and then you pursue that line, and you look at the impact that you're creating. So that's part one. Part one, we just wanted to create the context and also compare the ambition-driven leader and the vision-driven leader. As we get to part two, maybe I can take a comment if there is any comment so far. Any comments so far? As I look at the chat also. Mr. Mwangi, you've mentioned the vision of Global Leadership Network, a generational thinker, purpose-centered, vision-driven leader in every home, organization, and country. That's correct. Fred, you had mentioned equipping leaders to transform the world. Frank, also equipping leaders to transform the world. Yeah, it's true. That's part of, this is also part of the mission statement, but the vision is what Mr. Mwangi has highlighted. Okay, so I can comment. Can take a comment. Maybe today I might move a little bit faster, but just bear with me so that we see how well do we maximize the time. So let's continue utilizing the chat, but if there is someone who may want to make a comment, I can just maybe allow one. What has come out clear to you and what you feel is something that we need to remember as leaders from just that initial discussion in part one. Okay, so let's continue. I think we are also doing quite well as we share on the chat, because that gives us room just to continue with the discussion, and then we're able to look at the input from the chat. So feel free to post on the chat, but if you can also raise your hand in case you may want to make a comment, I can always post and allow for a comment. Now, part two of this discussion, the power of vision in leadership, we look at the fundamental responsibilities of a leader in vision casting. And there are three important roles that we play as leaders. One, we are saying our role, and this is also connected to what we discussed in the last session, is the issue of casting a vision. And then number two, we do what we call building alignment. And then number three is to champion execution. So when you're talking about crafting a vision, this is a stage where we need to do a lot of exploration. We need to remain open-minded, and we need to have the bigger picture in place. We need to make very bold steps, being adventurous, and also the issue of speaking out, whatever we are able to conceive on the inside. We need to test a lot of assumptions. What if? So seeking counsel is also very important as we build and craft the vision, and also looking at the long-term implications of the vision. So basically that is what entails crafting a vision. And then we move on to building alignment. Very, very important, because a vision requires people. A vision is something big, as we have always been saying. And it needs to, we need to bring alignment, create alignment. And this happens through clarity, explaining probably the rationale, communicating through structured messages, engaging in terms of dialogue, exchanging perspectives, trying to understand other people's perspective and to see how you're able to align, being also receptive in terms of the inputs, and also inspirational, being expressive, being encouraging. So building alignment is important because we are working with people and people need to understand us, and we need to engage in a dialogue so that we're able to really see how do we connect, how do they understand what we are pursuing, so that we can be able to work together. Even if they are pursuing a different vision, but they are connected. So the issue of collaboration, the issue of networking is also very important. So stakeholders comes in here. And then once the alignment is built, we move on to championing execution. This is where a leader stands out as a catalyst and a team player to ensure that people don't lose momentum. People remain self-driven. People remain initiating. They're taking initiative. They're taking actions. So we have structures that provides a clear plan, looking at the in-depth analysis of what is happening, how is the progress, and also the issue of feedback, addressing problems, and also being able to offer praise where possible. So these are three very, very important fundamental responsibilities: crafting the vision, then building alignment, and being able to lead that vision by championing execution. So basically, this is just more of the details that we're sharing. So crafting a vision, then here we take the charge as leaders. And Helen Keller said, what I'm looking for is not out there, it is in me. And basically the vision is birthed from the inside. There are some steps we can take when we are casting a vision, starting from brainstorming, meditating, thinking, prayer time. This is the most important place. This is the birthing place, if I can call it that. And then from there, we move on to write down, because when you write, we reinforce commitment. Then we organize the vision into achievable phases. It's a process. So we look at the phases. We make sure there is clarity, especially in terms of the objectives. And then we need to have time frames. And then we'll also link to projected reality, the reality, because there has to be the reality. One day the flight will take off. So it's not something that cannot be achieved. So needs to lead to some reality. And then number 6 is the issue of patience, because this is a process that might take time, but you need to keep on and wait until we're able to realize it. Building alignment, buy-in for your vision, that has to come out clear. People need to understand what they need to do and why they are partnering with you. Again, on the issue of championing execution, we're saying the leader is the catalyst, and a leader will help people so that they don't get disengaged or they don't lack any fulfillment beyond personal gain. So that is important when we are championing execution. And then when we look at the feedback, we're saying feedback is very important in every vision because it's a tool for involvement and engagement. Yeah, so you can give both positive feedback, which is more of a reactive, but you can also give encouragement, which is proactive, even before they achieve the results that you require, but you continue encouraging them so that they don't give up. So feedback, I think, remember that feedback is a tool of involvement and also engagement, and it's a very, very important tool to every leader to be able to see the real situation on the ground, and that also to be connected with the people that that we are leading. So part 2, basically we just wanted to clarify these roles so that as we move through as leaders, we're able to know where are we and what are our roles, and be also able to guide the process appropriately and also being well informed. So let's look at part 3. So part 3, there are key issues here. There are some principles, leadership principles on vision. You can check them in the manual. They're there in the manual. So let's just check on the manual. Just click on the manual. And let's know which page it is. If you get it, let's know which page
66.
it is. Page 66. So the leadership, there are some principles there. Are we all there? So just give me an indication. Either you can just indicate by raising your hand or any signal to know if we are together on that page. Yeah, thank you, Fred. Let me know if you're together on that page. Yeah, Richard, Sammy, thank you. Yes, thank you, Mary. Good. So let's look at some of these principles. Some of the principles. Number one, we are saying a vision embodies a leader. Embodies a leader. So basically, we are saying a vision will, I can use a word, will consume you. That's why people sacrifice for a vision. Yeah, they sacrifice because it's something that has really been inscribed in you. It's something that drives you. We said that a vision leads a leader. It becomes like a drive. So vision energizes the mind, the will, and the emotions, and it really consumes you. So that's the first principle, and John C. Maxwell has put it very well. Vision is an inspiring picture of the future that energizes the mind, will, and emotions, empowering one to do everything possible to achieve it. That's why you see even people dying for their vision, and they feel not scared. I remember a speech by Martin Luther, and he was saying what matters to him at that moment when he was giving that speech is to do the will of God, and nothing else mattered. So he knew his life was at danger, but he was saying, I think for me now, the most important thing is, am I doing the will of God? And if it will cost me anything else, then let it cost me, but let me be sure that I'm doing the will of God. So that's how a vision really embodies a leader. It captures the whole system from the mind, the willpower, and also emotionally we attach to it. Number two, we are saying vision gives hope, because without vision, sight has no hope. We cannot live just by what we are seeing. We need to live by what is deeply embedded in our heart, that we can only see by the eyes of the heart. So the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Yeah, this is Helen Keller. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. And this in society is a crisis. So many people out there, they have sight, but they have no vision. So lack of visionary leadership is a drawback in our society. Think about the situations that we are facing now, the hopelessness, the issues of insecurity, poor self-concept, self-image, the trauma, the depression. If we are to do a study on this, most of these issues will be attributed to leadership. And more critically or more specifically, the issue of visionary leadership. So vision or visionary leaders are able to give hope. So vision gives hope. Again, we are saying without the vision, people perish. I have mentioned that again and again. Number four, vision is the source of inspiration and motivation. When we lose the inner sight, then we start living a life of hopelessness, a life that has no passion, a life that is not inspirational. But a vision is a source of inspiration and motivation. Yeah, so a great leader's courage to fulfill their vision comes from passion, not just the position. Again, number five, we are saying vision is the source of value. When you capture a vision, you become more valuable. And that's when we're able to engage with people and sit on some tables together with other visionary leaders, because we are adding value to each other. So a vision will always help or uplift others by adding value, and also adding value to a leader, enriching the leader, and also placing the leader in a space where they can add more value in society. Number six, vision gives foresight. Yeah. And then vision attracts cooperation. So visionary leadership motivates others to submit their energies, their skills in a corporate commitment to achieving a noble vision. The key words there is a noble vision. So vision attracts resources, Vision makes activities meaningful. It's not about activities, but it's about how they add up to the vision. Yeah. So without a vision, leadership becomes an endless string of activities with little or no significance. What we call a rat race motion, but no progress. So a vision will ensure that all the activities are adding up to something, or they are adding up to the end in mind. Leadership translates vision to reality. So this is the 10th principle, that leadership is basically the capacity to be able to translate vision to reality. And then number 12, vision leads the leader. Yeah, vision leads the leader. You cast the vision, and then the vision now is able to give us the direction. So those are the 12 principles that we have captured in the book. We also have 5 implications, implications of a vision. What happens when you conceive a vision? What happens? How does the vision affect us and the people around us? So the first implication of a vision will always contrast present reality with the future expectation. There will be a gap on where we are and what we are visualizing. Something that might also look more of a discomfort in a way. Think about the example that I've been using. The children of Israel in a land that is not theirs, in captivity, working as slaves, and here you are promising them a land of their own, flowing with milk and honey, and this is a beautiful picture. So there's a contrast. You're telling us of something that is very beautiful, and yet here we're in a situation where it may not be that beautiful. So it brings a contrast, and we need to be comfortable with that contrast because it's also telling us how big we are dreaming. Ellen Johnson said, the size of your dreams must always exceed your current capacity to achieve them. If your dreams do not scare you, they are not big enough. And never limit your vision based on your current resources or your current realities. Always try to think, we always try to think beyond that. The second implication is that vision confronts sense of comfort. So a vision does not comfort, it actually disrupts comfort. It shrinks the comfort zone. It does not lead to the path of least resistance, but it takes us through challenges, takes us through discomfort, and that's the reality. Sometimes you even feel a lot of doubt, but in reality that is an indication of how we are dreaming. Every visionary leader will tell you that they go through times of doubt, they go through a lot of discomfort, trying to think, am I really going to achieve this? Is this achievable? So it doesn't create comfort, but it brings some element of discomfort. And Roy Bennett said, you never change your life until you step out of your comfort zone, and change will always begin at the end of your comfort zone. The third implication, vision conceives new opportunities. So vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. And Robert Sharma confirms this statement quite well, that opportunities are everywhere. The key is to develop the vision to be able to see the opportunities. So vision will conceive new opportunities. When you capture vision, it's able to place us in a position where we can attract opportunities, we can attract resources, and we can be able to see something that probably could not see without the eyes of a vision. 4, we are saying vision connects resources. So resources follow a vision, and people join because of a great vision, and people leave because of a poor vision or poor leadership. And then finally, the 5th implication. So vision will concentrate and focus our energy and our resources. That includes time, includes money, and human resource, and all the other resources that we need. So basically, when we capture a vision, then we become very focused, and the resources are also well aligned. I think about the government. From the moment we started working along Vision 2030, that became an area of focus. So every project that is being undertaken in government, especially when the vision was launched, the question was, how is the project aligned to Vision 2030? So if you are to get resources, then they have to be aligned with the vision. So a vision will concentrate. The energy is concentrated. The resources are concentrated. Yeah, so that is also very important as we walk towards this journey of vision casting, or even probably vision reviewing. Just looking at the vision you are currently pursuing or working under. So these are the 5 implications of a vision. That takes us to some enablers. How do we ensure that we are able to stick until we see the vision becoming a reality? There are some enablers, and some of these enablers, there are 6 of them. Just mention them in brief. One of them is focus. To be able to see our vision come to reality, we need to maintain focus and also maintaining clarity. So maintaining a point of concentration and attention, looking at advancements with consistency, and ensuring that our eyes don't get off the mark. And then number 2 enabler is patience. Patience is an enabler. Unless we are patient, then we cannot be able to see the reality of that vision. So why is this important? Is because vision unfolds step by step. It's a process, and therefore patience comes in handy. Then number 3, we're saying faith. Faith will keep us alive. It will keep the vision alive, and vision, they are like twins. Vision and faith, they work together, and faith will keep us focused even in the midst of darkness. Number 4 is resilience. Yeah, there will be ups and downs. There will be bumps. There will be times that we feel like we are glad and we are happy and we are pursuing the vision with a lot of zeal. And there are moments we'll be in doubt. There are moments that we'll really wonder, did I hear clearly? So that resilience, being able to be elastic, allowing yourself to stretch, to be able to have the comeback power. In case you are knocked out, in case you hit a bump, then we're able to ensure that we maintain our focus. So issues of endurance becomes very important. And then finally, we have positivity. Much of what we see is a reflection of how we feel from the inside. And I think James Allen put this very well. As he thinks, so he is. As he continues to think, so he remains. So positivity is an enabler, keeps us focused so that we don't lose track and we don't lose hope. And then finally, the 6th enabler of a vision is love or passion, love. So leadership, we said, is influence, and that influence comes from how passionate we are in terms of pursuing a vision. And that has to be driven by authentic love and compassion for humanity. Yeah. So leaders without love can abuse humanity instead of demonstrating compassion. So leaders should be in love with their vision and with humanity and with God. So that is what keeps us focused. Yeah, that love for what we are doing, the love for the people that we are serving, and the love for God. So without love, then it's very easily for people to use, or for leaders to use people for their own benefit. Now, finally, and maybe as I do the final, is there any comment? I'm still looking at my chat, so let the comments keep on coming. But as always, we're getting, this is the final part. So maybe as I conclude, we'll have a time just to each person just to make a contribution and also share your takeaway from these discussions. So there are some derailers that we need to watch out when you are pursuing a vision. What can derail a vision? Just think about it. What can derail a vision? And this can be both intrinsic or extrinsic derailers, something that comes from within us or something that comes from our environment. What do you think can derail a vision? And maybe even from where you are, if you have experienced it, what was the cause? What was the cause? So we can share on this. We can share on this. Vision derailers. What can derail a vision? What can derail a vision? Or what, from your experience, what has derailed maybe your vision if it has happened? So the vision derailers, or even the obstacle, maybe some obstacles that we need to watch out so that we need also to look at how do we overcome them or how do we manage them. So vision derailers, I see on the chat, lack of confidence. That's true. Richard, you're saying lack of confidence. Yeah, we said the issue of courage, especially when it comes to the vision casting or vision creation. Mediocrity, very true, Mr. Fred. Mediocrity that can also come with issues of compromise. Yeah. So let's take some more. Lack of confidence, mediocrity. We can take some more. What can derail our vision? Doubting mind, having doubt. Yeah. Undue postponements, Mr. Mwangi. Mr. Sami, thank you also. Having doubt. And we said it's we need to be comfortable even operating with the doubt, because sometimes it's what we are seeing is much bigger, and it's also probably scaring us. It does not really give us comfort, but it makes us feel somehow uncomfortable. Yeah, so some of the derailers which you have mentioned, I think there is this element of just wanting to remain ordinary, and also many other distractions that will come along. And we are not distracted sometimes by bad things, we are distracted by good things. Yeah. Fred, you're saying unforeseen circumstances, e.g. COVID-19. Yeah, there are some unforeseen circumstances that can also distract our vision. So the issue of compromise, that can come also with the issue of mediocrity. Indecision, and also dwelling so much on the past. The past is good, we need to build on it, but we also need to let it go so that we look ahead. There are times you sit with some leaders and they will always tell you about the good old days without really telling you or telling us what are the good days ahead. So as we appreciate where we have come from, we also need to ensure that we don't become prisoners of the past, but we build on the past to be able to focus on the future. So some of the derailers, the ones that I've mentioned, including the issue of lack of clarity. We need to be very specific so that we don't do too much and we don't leave too much space. And that helps us to become very dynamic, so that when we are sharp, then we are also able to have more impact. And we're saying nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. Then a clear distinction between vision, mission, and ambition. And that's why I highlighted that, so that we create that clarity, so that we really know, are we pursuing a vision? Are we pursuing being driven by an ambition? And how do we, again, now break it into some mission statement that will help us to achieve it? Indecision, I think this has been mentioned, living with the prolonged indecision, procrastination, that is also a derailer. Tomorrow, that may never come. excuses instead of intentional action. Remember what we talked about? We said that in life you can have two things, results or reasons, but reasons don't count. So what count is results and also the impact, not the excuse. There will always be an excuse or starting tomorrow, not today. Then number 5, perfectionism or perfect status. Perfect status are always waiting for the perfect time. So when we want to be a perfect starter, then it becomes a derailer. It delays our vision. Yeah, so all the lights cannot be green at the same time. Some will be green, some will be red, and we'll have to take faith, believing that as we start from a green light, by the time we get to the other one, probably it will already be green. So perfect starters, we need to watch out so that we are able to make steps and improve along the way. Number 6, we're saying failure to close off other options, attempting to do too much, having too much broad view, pursuing too much can lead to average and also mediocrity. So business does not equal progress or impact. Doing too much does not mean that we really be impactful, but is doing what we are able to do, but also focusing on the quality. So need to close off courageously. Need to close off courageously some of the other options. There are things that might be so dear to us, but they may not add to the vision. Then we need to courageously close them off. Not recognizing the cost of vision. Vision will come at a cost, a lot of sacrifice, diligence, resources. So that can also be a derailer. We need to count the cost even before. Remember the story in the Bible of that builder. So we need to sit down and count the cost. Lack of knowledge. Knowledge drives vision, and many vision can have aborted, and many can also abort for lack of knowledge, and then also succumbing to external forces. Either it can be criticism, it can be opposition, it can even be praise. So we need to be immune to this so that we don't lose focus. And then finally, failure to collaborate. Failure to collaborate. Vision requires collaboration. So if we fail to collaborate, then that might derail our vision. So we need to look at how do we collaborate? How do we focus on our core mandate while allowing other partners to be able to work and work together with us? So those are some of the derailers that we need to watch out for as we journey together in this journey of vision casting and vision alignment and also vision execution. I'm sure probably all of us, as we sit down today, we are all at different stages. Probably some of us, this information is just helping us to just refocus either an organizational vision or a personal vision. Maybe to some of us, it's a trigger to help us to embark on this journey, maybe at a personal level. And depending at which angle you are looking at it, just look at this and follow through the challenge, the leadership challenge in the manual, just to think about your own personal vision and follow through the other steps, because that is the most important stage in this masterclass. Otherwise, that brings us to the end of this session. I know I've taken you marathon, moved very, very fast, but I hope that we've been able to pick something that will help us improve in our leadership spaces. So we have maybe 1 or 2 minutes, which we can just engage a little bit. And I just want to open it to what is our takeaway? If we can share our takeaway as we close, that will be good. So if you are able to unmute and share, that will be fine. But if you are in a position where you cannot be able to communicate, just feel free to share on the chat. I can start with Richard. Richard, if you're in a position where you can unmute and make a comment, you can do so. If you're in a place where you cannot be able to make a comment, feel free to use the chat. So Richard, if you are free, just do that. Maybe as we wait on Richard, I can also check on Mary. Mary, I don't know if you're in a place where you can make a comment or you prefer to use the chat. Just use the option that you're comfortable with.
What I've learned today, is that you need to have at least, even if you have the drive of what you're planning to do as a leader, it cannot work alone. You need the people who you're leading also must be part of the objective, because if we look at the last topic that was talked about the failures, which might lead to a mission not working. Some of these things might come also from the people you're leading, the excuses, the compromise. So whatever you're planning to do in life to move forward, just make sure you surround yourself with the right people and whom share the same mission and vision with you.
Yeah, very true. Our vision is bigger, and as we have always said, it's something that requires collaboration. So clearly, as you've put it, we need to be appreciating that will help us perform well. And I think in the corporate world, that is what we do. They're very good collaboration. And that helps them to remain at afloat and also to be able to perform well. So thank you, Mary. Sami Lubia, are you able to make a comment?
My takeaway is on the derailers. Those are things that push me back from the vision that I have. And I think mostly I need to work on procrastination, because I feel like that is something that has affected me before, pushing things forward. And another thing is the people that are around me. I need to be careful because they may dim my vision by the discouragements that discouragement, opinions, and comments that they make to my vision.
Yeah, true, Sami. And I think the environment, the environment is important, because the environment can either help us, it can become a catalyst, and also the environment can choke the vision. So I think how we position ourselves is very important. Somehow we become comfortable engaging in new relationships and also probably closing some other relationships. So that's important. Thank you, Sami. Richard, are you able to make a comment now?
Okay. Yes, my takeaway today is on vision, on vision-driven leader, whom I've seen is a person who has a purpose and who has a plan, and he has an implementation plan on the same purpose. Against this ambition-driven leader, who is very selfish, self-centered, and I can relate him with the managers versus leaders, whereby leaders are vision-driven, whereby managers is like they are ambitious. They are driven by their selfish gain, or they are self-centered, self-focused. So that is my takeaway for today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Richard. Thank you even for trying to connect us from the past lessons. And as I said, it's not bad to be ambitious, but also trying to make sure that, especially when you step into leadership space, then we start looking at the bigger picture and the welfare of a bigger community around us. So we shift just from ourselves now to our contribution to the environment. And then we have Mr. Frank Asava. Mr. Frank, if you're able to make a comment, you can just unmute and share. And then we'll be able to get to Mr. Mwangi. So maybe Mr. Mwangi, you can make your comment as we try to see if Mr. Asava will be able to also respond.
Okay, thank you. So I salute all the leaders. My takeaway is the power of the vision is founded on the crafting. Once we get the crafting right, then one is ready to go. Then the issue of alignment and execution and keeping that momentum. So once the crafting is right, then the leader would be ready to propel the other bit of the vision. So my take would be that the power of the vision is founded on the crafting.
Yeah, true. So thank you, Mr. Mwangi. Mr. Frank, you're saying vision brings out the leader, gives the leader energy and power to bring out the raw activity to a refined product of product or activity. Yeah. So just reflect more on this session. Listen again and again, and let's pick a few other takeaways, something that we can incorporate into our leadership, and also maybe something that we can share with our teams out there as we think through our leadership journey. We started our discussion on the project proposals. I don't know if you have been able to link up together and just have some initial discussion. Team one, we have Edwin, we have Mary, and we have Richard. Edwin sent his apology. So maybe Mary or Richard, you can give us an indication. Have you been able to link up either online? Have you been able to have an initial meeting to discuss how you're going to handle your project proposal? Yeah, so Mary, you're saying not yet. So we shared the contacts, so please do so, so that next week we'll have time to be able to, have time to be able to discuss. But you're saying you're able to, you formed a group, so that's also a step. So link up, and then next week we'll discuss your project title, the problem statement, and the objectives. Team two, we have Mr. Franco Asava, we have Sami, and we have Fred. So Sami and Asava, I see you are online. Give us an indication if you are able to meet. Have you been able to link up or communicate? Okay, I see you have already communicated on the chat. So you're saying you're making arrangement to link up on Monday so that you can engage on this discussion. And feel free to always try to reach out to me in case you need more clarification. So next week, we'll spare some good time so that we can start our discussions on issues of project proposal. You can look at the guidelines that I shared just to be able to help you understand more. But always also feel free to be able to get in touch with me in case you require more clarification. I wish to pause there. I think we have, I've taken you a little bit faster. We started late and we've just finished 10 minutes after our initial time. Last on Thursday, it took even more longer. I think we finished at 10. So this time, I think we have done it a little bit faster. I hope I didn't rush you too much, but you can take time to listen again to the YouTube just to help us capture some areas that we might have missed out. Otherwise, Thank you so much. We can stop there for today. Let's continue engaging on the chat. Let's unmute so that we can close by sharing the words of grace.
Of our Lord Jesus Christ,
Of our Lord Jesus Christ,
and the love of
and the love of God,
and the fellowship of
and
the
the
Holy
fellowship
Spirit
of the Holy Spirit
be
be
with us
with
now
us
and
now.
forevermore.
and forever.
Amen.
Amen.
Blessed night, everyone.